everyone, this is Kavvita Kapoor Khalsaa, and we are on Exposé with marriage or no marriage. And today's topic is importance of communication in marriage. Before we go on to the topic, I want to introduce you guys to a lovely, lovely, yummy facilitator, Shweta Chadha. She's from Nagpur, and she's a certified facilitator with access consciousness, of course. And she's a counselor, she's a motivational speaker, and not only that, she conducts a lot of workshops so that you can have a greater and a better life and relationships and whatever you are asking for. She's also, by the way, not just into healing, she's also an architect and a designer. So much of art coming out. And she's a mother of two lovely twins, teenage twins. So that's too much on her plateau already. So we got to see how she manages everything, and 18 years of a beautiful marriage that she's been living on and going strong. So I want to know what is so before I can go on, hi Shweta, thank you so much for being there.
Hi, Kavita. Thank you for having me here. I'm so honored and thank you for all the wonderful things that you just said. Very grateful. So,
Yeah.
what are we talking about today?
I just want you to first start off with a thing. ये marriage and no marriage का जो चर्चा बहुत सारी चीजें चलती हैं. Lot of people are anti-marriage, lot of people are into marriage, and so there's a lot of conflict that people have, that one should marry. Those who are married, they just don't like to be married, and those who are not married, they want them to get married. So, what is your choice? Like, what would you say
Oh,
about marriage or no marriage?
it's such a difficult question, and I honestly, I wouldn't be imposing my point of view on anyone. It's totally a people's call on whether they do want to get married or not. I would say I got married in ignorance, and but I'm so glad I did because honestly, my life wouldn't have been the same if I wasn't married. And like you, just before we started this live, were saying, शादी करने का मतलब ये नहीं है कि rosy picture बन जाती है. Everything is cha la 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 la, you know. It is.
फैंटासी, अरे सब मिल जाएगा, जिंदगी नहीं हो जाएगी, हरी भरी हो जाएगी, कुछ नहीं होता है. लेकिन शादी अच्छा है, मतलब आई एम नॉट सेइंग कि आप करो लोगो, बट मुझे अच्छी लग रही है शादी, मजा आ रहा है.
हरी भरी जरूर हो जाती है, बहुत ज्यादा हरी भरी हो जाती है, लेकिन
हरी भरी
मुझे
तो हो जाती
बिल्कुल हो जाती है, बहुत तरीकों से हो जाती है.
है, हम
और
भी चाहते हैं आफ्टर सम टाइम. वो भी हम
वो भी हो जाता है, ऑफ कोर्स, बट दैट्स अ होल डिफरेंट टॉपिक आई थिंक.
दैट्स यू डू नॉट नो, बाद में करेंगे.
Yeah. But एक चीज मुझे one thing that I say in any relationship class or conversation that I have is one thing that I used to love to read these Reader's Digest quotes. You remember they had these quotable quotes, and one quote I read when I was very very young and it stuck to me was, relationship is like bread and it needs to be made afresh every day.
ओ वाओ, ओ
So
ब्यूटीफुल.
it
या
is.
लेकिन ब्रेड तो 2-3 दिन की बासी भी खाई जा सकती है
हाँ,
वैसे.
तो हम उतना तो रिश्ता भी चला ही लेते हैं,
हाँ,
लेकिन
वो
दो
तो
चार
चला ही
दिन के
लेते. ये बात, वाओ, दिस इज ब्यूटीफुल. इट्स लाइक ब्रेड एंड इट हैज टू बी फ्रेशली बेक्ड एवरी डे, लाइक बेक्ड होता है, व्हाटएवर होता है जो भी है,
एक ही होती
बट
है.
रोज नहीं. क्योंकि हम अपने शायद पंगे जो हैं, जो कॉन्फ्लिक्ट्स है, उसको लेके कैरी ऑन करते चले जाते हैं, आई थिंक. सो
अपनी
नहीं, सो दैट
एक्सपेक्टेशंस
गेट्स मी.
है ना.
So no, that gets me to the point. If I have to ask, um, so what is the importance of communication in marriage then?
Oh, great question. And like you said, that actually communication in any relationship, I feel, is very, very important because, like, I was talking to you and you know about my daughters, and we share a great relationship. They're teenagers. And the one thing that I missed when I was growing up with my parents was communication. So they were
You
always
missed
around.
out.
They've
You
been a
missed
great,
out.
missed out
No,
on communication.
missed out. Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, because now I see there were so many things that I wanted to talk about,
Mhm.
that probably at that point of time, uh, parents sometimes are not equipped to have the kind of conversations children want to have.
Yep.
And it's easier to avoid certain conversations rather than have them. And most common conversations around money, sex, relationship,
You don't have it.
and boys, when I was growing up, boys was such a taboo topic. So
Yes.
relationship and boys never talked about. Sex never talked about. What happens after marriage never talked about. So it was
No,
just
so I was told that sex is a bad thing, it's sinful. That's what I was told. So वो तो
ah,
बात उस मतलब it's like a thing. You know, if somebody is kissing also, तो वो दो
yeah,
फूल सामने आ जाएंगे and you don't know what's going on. You,
exactly.
yeah,
So
it's something, it's hidden.
yeah, so if you see that if you do have communication, and one thing, another thing that I learned was that, see, particularly children are curious about so many things when they're growing up about their bodies, about sex, and I'm just kind of giving you an example of a parent-child relationship
Yes, yes,
because the
yes.
same applies to a husband-wife relationship or to lovers because
Yeah,
people think differently, you know, like if you and I are having a conversation, what you're saying and what you mean when you say it, I will gauge it according to my experiences, my
yes,
expectations, right?
yes,
So it's important, even when you're every day conversing, sometimes it's important to spend time with each other, sit down and decipher what did you mean when you say that? What did I
yeah,
mean when I said that? Because that's the reason where conflicts begin in a
right, right.
marriage. So I think that in itself is explanation enough of how important communication can be in marriage. Don't you think? What do you think?
Okay. No, so sometimes if I'm saying I like red, does not mean I don't like blue. I
Exactly.
mean, you will interpret that I hate blue, and
Yeah,
and blue could be your favorite color. So
exactly.
that's what I
So
get. Yeah, I mean, what do you
communication
really?
in you know, we get so busy, particularly when you get into a marriage.
Yes,
You know that there are so many new commitments, new relationships, particularly in our community, where
yes,
it's such a, you know, you're not just getting married to one person, you're getting married to the whole family. And
yeah,
it's more like a woman's onus to the woman is expected to सबके साथ बना के रखो, सबके साथ खुश रहो, अच्छे भी दिखो, enjoy भी
yeah,
करो. You know, there's so much of, and you're so excited. So
yeah,
suddenly your life takes a turn into a new place, a new space, new things, some things that you haven't been told about, particularly because when I got married into this family, I came from you know, small nuclear family, and then if you're getting married into a bigger family, then you expected to that's a whole different ball game, right? Now
yeah,
in
yeah,
that you kind of sometimes miss out on communicating with each other, trying to
yes,
fulfill responsibilities, trying to do everything you expected to do, trying to be the best perfect bride,
yes, yes,
daughter-in-law, wife. And in that situation initially it might be okay, but sooner or later
it
I
can be
feel,
overwhelming also
yeah,
because
of course it is.
yeah,
But then, sooner or later, you know, if at all, there is something that begins to happen between the couple, between the husband and wife, something that's not okay, or you sense disrupt or a little conflict beginning to, you know, flicker. I think the communication is the first step to resolving that. If you're not communicating with each other, misunderstandings would be so
true.
many. And again, with everyone, not only with the person that you're married to,
With the entire
communication.
family
But
for
you
that
know,
matter.
Kavita, interestingly, what just came up for me was when I got married, and I was a very vocal person, and I believe that, yeah, communication is very, sometimes communication can be misinterpreted also when it extends to people who don't believe in communication.
Oh,
So,
right, totally. Because they're people with very few words. No,
yeah,
something like when I was getting married, one thing I asked my husband that what do you don't like, and he said मुझे जो बूथा बना के रखते हैं ना लोग ऐसे, you know, ऐसे करके बैठते हैं, I don't like it. So I'm
yeah,
like, okay, point taken. Even I don't like it क्योंकि आपका मुंह सड़ा क्यों हुआ है, आप बता तो दो. You know, I'm supposed to guess, and इसको ये अच्छा नहीं लगा होगा वो, you know, it's so much of hard work. You
yeah.
better blurt it out, and say, tell me हुआ क्या है. So that gets me to my next question कि कई लोग कॉन्स्टेंटली ट्रिगर्ड रहते हैं, चिड़े रहते हैं. तो एक पार्टनर थोड़ा शांत है और एक पार्टनर थोड़ा ट्रिगर्ड है. ऐसे सिनेरियो में कम्युनिकेशन कैसे एस्टेब्लिश किया जा सकता है?
यार ये बहुत पर्सनल चीज है। आई थिंक जब तक आप इंसान को समझना शुरू करते हो, धीरे धीरे टेक्स टाइम, बट कम्युनिकेशन इज इम्पोर्टेंट। अब आप वो किस तरीके से करते हो, कब, अच्छा कब करते हो भी इम्पोर्टेंट है ना। जब वो बंदा ट्रिगर्ड है उसी टाइम अगर आपको उनसे बात करनी है और उनका बात करने का मूड नहीं है, इट कैन काइंड ऑफ फायर बैक ऑन यू। सो one other thing I learned was it's not always a good time to communicate. You have to see when and how, and that's that happens when you are actually present with that person when
Right.
you are and a very important part of that is you caring for yourself also, you looking at what works for you and what doesn't work for you also,
Yeah.
because again in marriage you see they're so busy making the other people happy, making the other
Yeah.
person comfortable, you forget about मेरे लिए क्या जरूरी है, मेरे लिए क्या important है, and the giving up of oneself starts very quickly, whether it's for a man or a woman, or it could be for both, or it could be for one. And in that is the space where I feel that the husband wife relationship in a marriage is so important, and the communication, whether it's the silence can also be communication, right?
Yeah.
Where you
But we
understand,
misinterpret silence every time because ये चुप बैठे जरूर कोई बात है.
है
You
ना,
know,
तो आपको
wrong or
समझ जाता है, तो आपको पता चल जाता है कि भाई कुछ कुछ बातों साइलेंस में भी कम्युनिकेशन है.
that
और
song, no? चुप चुप बैठे हो
हाँ,
जरूर कोई बात है.
exactly, बिल्कुल. So
नहीं.
I wonder if that answers your question.
Yes, it does. And but no, so थोड़ा बहुत manipulation आप कह रहे हो एक तरह से अच्छा है. Is it like, one can
Again,
manipulate? Should.
so manipulation is like a very big word, and a lot of people have a point of view about manipulating and that it's
Right.
wrong and you
Yes.
shouldn't. But अगर manipulation इस तरह से है कि भाई आपको समझ आ रहा है कि ये टाइम ये किसी के लिए भी ज्यादा क्रिएट नहीं करेगा, इससे बात बढ़ सकती है या बिगड़ सकती है, तो चलो अभी बात को थोड़ा घुमा दो, चलो बाद में देख लेंगे, हालांकि मैं प्रेजेंट हूँ कि कुछ something needs to be attended to, but this thing that we talk about, asking questions and following your intuition,
Yeah.
um, is that okay, is now the time to talk about it later? और
Yes.
जैसे और कई बारी हम भांप लेते हैं ना, एक छोटी सी
हाँ.
बात करके देखते हैं कि बंदे का मूड है कि नहीं बात करने का. पर
हाँ.
ये भी तो जैसे हमारे पंजाबी कल्चर में टप्पे भी हैं, है ना, द वे वी sing our tappas is that little tease energy, that little
Yes.
enjoying energy, yet not disrespecting anyone if they're not in a good mood or they don't want to communicate right now. Also honoring yourself, where you're not allowing anyone to disrespect you or
And
not.
not taking it personally. I think सब
Yes,
लोग जो है ना
very
personal
important.
ले लेते हैं कि मेरे को
Very
directly बोला. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you for saying that. Very important that is too. तो वही बात है, अगर मैनिपुलेशन को खेल खेल में और एक अच्छी खुशी वाली एनर्जी के साथ आप करो जिससे कि सबके लिए ग्रेटर क्रिएट हो, तो मैनिपुलेशन गड़बड़ नहीं है. लेकिन जब हम उसको बहुत सारे लोग, मतलब शादी के बाद हम देखते हैं कुछ
करना
रिश्तेदार
शुरू कर
ऐसे होते हैं जो मैनिपुलेट करके बात बिगाड़ने की कोशिश करते हैं, रिश्ता खराब, वो वाली मैनिपुलेशन अच्छी नहीं है मुझे लगता है.
नहीं
दैट
है.
इज नॉट
हाँ,
समथिंग
बिल्कुल
एनीबडी
बिल्कुल.
लाइक्स.
नहीं, क्योंकि मेरी एक दोस्त है जो कॉन्स्टेंटली बोलती है मुझे नहीं बोलना चाहिए था पर मैंने बोल दिया. एंड दैट ऑब्वियसली वो उनका डिफरेंसेस एंड डिस्टेंस जो है इंक्रीज करता चला जाता है. तो आपने अपना समझ के तो बोल दिया पर वो कम्युनिकेशन खराब हो गई.
बिल्कुल.
फिर आपको वो, या सो हाउ डू यू काइंड ऑफ
So,
हाउ डू दे
do you remember
रिकवर?
that? Do you remember that story that Gary talks about? Gary Douglas, and you're an amazing facilitator yourself. So that story about that couple, Mary and her husband, where
दैट 90-year-old लेडी जो
yeah,
कि
yeah. So this 90-year-old woman comes to stay with him, and they're talking about it. So Gary की दोस्त है जो 90-year-old lady है, and they're staying, and he asks her कि इतना वो travel करते थे आपके husband, तो आपको लगता है कभी he was unfaithful to you, or did he go around and see other women or whatever? And she said, well, if he needed to, then he would have, you know,
या
but he would never dishonor me by
बाय
coming and
टेलिंग.
telling me. And he probably wasn't doing it to cheat on me. And
यस.
I am, by the way, by saying this, I am not saying that infidelity is okay or you can cheat. No, I'm not saying that at all. In fact, I am the first person who's like, I can tolerate anything, but not infidelity.
यस.
बट ये एक सिर्फ एक छोटा सा एग्जाम्पल है कि हर चीज जो हमको बताया जाता है हर चीज शेयर करनी चाहिए, हर चीज. तो
नहीं.
कम्युनिकेशन का मतलब ये नहीं है कि हर चीज शेयर करो,
हाँ,
है ना,
ये
आपको ये
बहुत पॉइंट है. यस, हर
तो
चीज शेयर करने की जरूरत नहीं है.
बिल्कुल हर चीज अगर आपको और मैं ये गलती कर चुकी हूँ बहुत बार,
मैं भी.
कि बहुत बार इनफैक्ट हो सकता है कि मतलब कभी पता नहीं चलता. अभी my marriage is like all marriages has been through its ups and downs, and every marriage does.
Yes,
I
yes.
personally feel that, like I said, it has to be made every day.
15 years is a beautiful long
It,
time.
it is
Amazing.
truly. I think at 20 you can congratulate me for having done it. Yay!
Yeah, seriously, close to
Yeah,
वो क्या
because
silver jubilee. Yeah.
पता नहीं सिल्वर जुबली तो नहीं पता, बट इतने सारे डिफरेंट पॉइंट्स ऑफ व्यूज होते हैं, बिकॉज वी बोथ इंडिपेंडेंट पीपल, वी बोथ हैव
Yes.
फियर्स ओपिनियंस. सो इफ यू डोंट रिस्पेक्ट द अदर पर्सन yet respecting the other person, yet not giving up on your desires, on your points of views, कि भाई ठीक है, उनका अपना पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू है, मेरा अपना पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू है, ना हम मुझे उनको कम करने की जरूरत है, ना मुझे
तो बदलने की
उसको।
जरूरत है। हाँ,
एग्जैक्टली exactly.
तो
तो ये गलती हो चुकी है कि मुझे लगा अरे ये हुआ तो मैं बता दूं, वो हो रहा है तो, और वो बाद में इतने उल्टे पड़ते हैं ना वो बातें, क्योंकि
हाँ,
कई बारी अगला बंदा वो सुनने के लिए तैयार नहीं होता, कई बारी उनके दिमाग में कुछ और चल रहा होता है और हम अपनी दुनिया में बताए चले जाते हैं। तो ये
हाँ,
जरूरी है उस टाइम पे पूछना कि इज दिस अदर पर्सन विलिंग टू रिसीव दिस इंफॉर्मेशन, विच इज अ
राइट,
ग्रेट क्वेश्चन,
क्वेश्चन,
एंड
वेरी गुड क्वेश्चन,
follow
यस।
your awareness on is it going to contribute to them, क्योंकि कई बार वो नहीं हैंडल कर पाते हैं वो इन्फॉर्मेशन।
नहीं, क्योंकि वही होता है पेरेंट चाइल्ड रिलेशनशिप में भी, तो ऐसा होता है सच बोलो सच बोलो, बच्चा सच बोलते है थप्पड़ खा लेता है।
एग्जैक्टली,
तो
वही
आपके सच झेलने की कैपेसिटी नहीं है और आप कहते हो सच सुनाओ मुझे, तो वो हस्बैंड वाइफ हो या पेरेंट चाइल्ड हो, वो स्यापा हो ही जाता है वहां पे।
और
सो
ये सिर्फ सच की बात नहीं है ना कविता, सच
हाँ,
भी तो
बात
बहुत वो
बताने की
है।
बात है कि वो बात को कैसे ले सकते हो या नहीं ले सकते हो,
एग्जैक्टली,
कितना ले सकते हो। सो
बिल्कुल।
लेकिन हाँ, मतलब अगर हम ये कहें कि कम्युनिकेशन ज्यादा करते हैं तो प्रॉब्लम है, नहीं करते हैं तो प्रॉब्लम है, तो क्या बिल्कुल ना कम्युनिकेशन करने से कुछ बेटर हो सकता है, या आधे अधूरे कम्युनिकेशन से जो मिसअंडरस्टैंडिंग होती है वो पूरा कैसे करें, और इन अ वे इफेक्टिव कम्युनिकेशन किसे कहेंगे?
तो कुछ बातें ऐसी होती हैं जैसे जो वो करते हैं और मुझे तकलीफ देती हैं, तो
हाँ,
मैं उसको पहले कंट्रोल करने की कोशिश करती थी, मैं कहती थी ऐसे क्यों कर रहे हो, या मैं गुस्से हो जाती थी, एंड देन आई रियलाइज it's his life. I used to be a very, very nagging wife. And then I realized that he
we
used to
all
keep
can.
telling me that you nag, and I wouldn't believe it. Like, no, I'm not nagging. And he sometimes can be a controlling person. So, we actually sat down, and I'm like, I told him, and it doesn't have to be like the same one conversation, जिसमें सारी बातें हो रही हैं, अलग अलग टाइम पे अलग अलग रियलाइजेशंस, एंड द कमिटमेंट कि ये रिश्ता निभाना है, ये छोड़ के
हाँ,
जाना तो बहुत आसान है, और कई बार हम ऐसे वर्ड्स पे भी आ चुके हैं जहां हम लिटरली अलग होने वाले थे, but it is a commitment that you like, okay, is our being together contributing to each other's lives, is our being together creating a greater life than we were spending alone, or we would
yes,
spend alone, is it contributing greater to the children, because once you have children then you have another commitment, right?
another commitment, yes, yes,
तो
yes,
छोड़ के जाना इज द इजीएस्ट थिंग टू डू, इज लाइक,
yes,
ऐसा लगता है कि अलग हो जाना या डिवोर्स ले लेना बहुत आसान है, नहीं है, वो
हाँ,
आसान नहीं है, वो भी मुश्किल है, और रिश्ते में रहना भी मुश्किल है, लेकिन ये देखना जरूरी है कि हमारे को कंट्रीब्यूट क्या करता है।
ये
तो
वही मेरे को इससे आपने जो अभी बोला ना उससे ये आता है, तो लाइफ निभाना, लाइफ जीना, ये भी बहुत मुश्किल है, यूं कहो तो मरना भी बहुत मुश्किल है। सो
एग्जैक्टली,
व्हाट यू जस्ट सेड कि रिश्ता निभाना भी मुश्किल है और उसमें से चले जाना भी उतना ही मुश्किल है।
उतना ही
ब्यूटीफुल।
मुश्किल है, लेकिन आपको ये देखना है कि आपके लिए और दूसरों के लिए, क्योंकि the children, and obviously you care for the other person, you've spent so much time together and you care for your children, so you have to see what is going to create greater, and the same applies to this thing of, if I share this, is it going to create greater, if I don't share this, is it going to create greater. So I
राइट,
actually told him one day that, listen, I'm sorry that I stopped you from doing this, and it triggers me, so why don't you not tell me next time, you know
या,
and if it pops up later sometime, I'll know that I only told you not to tell me.
यस,
So it bothers me, triggers me, just don't tell me, do your thing, and when I come to know, I come to know. So that's the way we settle this, and there are certain things that I know trigger him, so
ओके,
I don't share those, I don't do them in front of him, but I
या
will.
बिकॉज़ हो सकता है अभी किसी दोस्त से उनको इरिटेशन हो या एलर्जी हो, एंड यू से कि मैं पूरा, एंड शी इज योर बेस्ट फ्रेंड, सो ही डजंट वांट टू हियर अबाउट इट, सो
Yeah.
इट्स ओके टू नॉट टेल, बट मोस्टली लोग क्या करेंगे, वो फ्रेंड को कट ऑफ कर देंगे सो दैट वो एक रिश्ता निभाने के लिए दूसरे को काटते चले जाते हैं।
बिल्कुल, तो वो प्लीज़ मत करिए, बिकॉज़ उसमें आप खुद को काटते चले जा रहे हो ना, अगर आप अपने लिए सारी इम्पोर्टेंट चीज़ें काटते चले जा रहे हो, और अगले को जिसके साथ आप रिश्ते में हो अगर ये समझ नहीं आ रहा कि आपके लिए क्या इम्पोर्टेंट है, तो फिर क्या ये रिश्ता सच में आपके लिए योगदान दे रहा है? इज़ इट अ कंट्रीब्यूशन टू यू और नॉट? दैट्स द बिगेस्ट क्वेश्चन।
So if I want you to wrap it up, कि आप क्या pointers दोगे for a good, suppose अच्छी शादी, अच्छा relationship बनाने के लिए, चाहे वो फिर किसी के साथ relationship की बात करें हम, तो उसमें क्या चीजें कुछ like takeaways from this particular call? क्या आप अपने pointers बोलोगे?
Yeah, Kavita, I'm very honored that you brought me on, but like I'm saying, you don't know, last month if you had called me on this call, I would say, नहीं, हम तो लड़े हुए हैं, हम तो I'm not the perfect person to, हम तो लड़ते भी शिद्दत से हैं और जीते भी शिद्दत से हैं और प्यार भी शिद्दत से करते हैं, तो
We work hard and we party hard.
oh, yes, absolutely. So लड़ रहे हैं तो दिल से लड़ो और प्यार कर रहे हो तो दिल से करो. तो
हाँ,
I would personally say,
caption ये आपने बोल ही दिया, जो कर रहे हो वो शिद्दत से करो.
हाँ बस लेकिन एक चीज बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट जो मैंने सीखी, आई थिंक ओनली वन टू थिंग्स इन फैक्ट. वन इज योर कमिटमेंट टू योर रिलेशनशिप which we've spoken about, and the second thing is respect, which goes a very long way, even longer than love. If you
Yes.
respect the other person and you don't give up on your respect of yourself, I think that is the foundation for the
Wow.
fights and the love and all the trials that come in a marriage. If the
Yes.
respect is there, then I think you can beat everything.
Yes. The honoring of your own self. That is, yeah, that's
And the other
important.
person also, like
And
sometimes
the
in honoring of ourselves हम कहते हैं तुम जाने दो, you know.
honoring of you, see, only if you can honor yourself, you can, be in honoring of other person also. So wo
Truly.
sahi hai. That's so beautiful. So people, that's it for today. We're wrapping it up by saying कि खुद को भी उतना छोटा नहीं करना और प्लस कमिटमेंट के बारे में भी सोचना है. And if you would like to have more tips, or you would like to have relationship marriage counseling, Shweta Chadha, she'll be tagged on this page. She is in Nagpur but available worldwide. So आप देख सकते हो जहाँ भी इनसे कर सकते हो, question कर सकते हो. She's always available. She does her page. She does come live on every day, if I'm not mistaken, or every
No,
week.
I am not doing as many lives these days, but yeah, I have a
But
page which is called Showing Up As You, and there are some.
showing up as you, and showing up as you in marriage, with money, with health, with your bodies, whatever. And you can be there on her live also, showing up as you. So that's it for now. Thank you, Shweta, for
Thank
sharing
you,
your
Kavita, for
precious.
having me. It was such
Thank
a
you.
pleasure.
That's so wonderful. See you guys with another beautiful guest next time. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.